Shalom, everyone. My name is Cody Baynard, and today I'm going to be discussing my thoughts on the new album from Katatonia titled A Sky Void of Stars. Katatonia are a progressive and gothic and alternative metal band. They're kind of genre bending from Sweden. And over the course of their very lengthy 3-decade career, they have created a very consistent discography with a pretty cool variety of sounds and styles that they have played around with. And on top of that, they're also the type of band that just keeps maturing in terms of production and performances and songwriting, especially starting from like the mid 2000s onwards. Jonas has acquired a very distinctive singing style that now makes him one of my personal favorite singers in metal and rock music today. And along with the fact that they have been embracing more progressive metal and rock elements on their most recent output, I feel that their more modern style appeals to my ears the most. Admittingly, I was not quite as crazy about their previous studio record, City Burials, which saw the band really kind of throwing everything at the wall and seeing what stuck in a way that felt kind of disjointed and inconsistent, in my opinion. On this latest record, however, Katatonia really are just doing what they do best at this point, making very moody, atmospheric, and immersive, progressive and gothic metal bangers with some doomy touches here and there. Admittingly, if you are already very familiar with Katatonia's more modern sound, or if you're just in general not a big fan of their general style and the maybe a bit tired of the moody aesthetic that everything that they've ever made has, this will probably come off as very boring and uninspired. Nearly everything that they do on this LP, they have already done before, with some minor exceptions. Probably the newest thing that they do on here is incorporate some ambient electronica elements that gives some of these tracks a kind of cyberpunk-ish flavor, although that's such a minor thing that it probably wouldn't make a huge difference for anyone who's just uninterested in what they generally do. However, as someone who has been and probably will continue to be a very big fan of Katatonia's output, I am finding myself absolutely loving this thing. A lot of the qualities that makes Katatonia's music so impressive and appealing and unique to me are very much present on here and executed with a lot of competence and professionalism, as well as genuine heart. The album's opening track, Austerity, showcases a lot of what I mean already. Almost as soon as you hit play, there's already lots of interesting things happening musically, from this very strange rhythmic groove that kind of drives the whole track. And on top of this somewhat mind-bending proggy complexity, there's a lot of very interesting attention to detail in terms of the atmospheric layering, and combined with that, Jonas's vocals are beautiful. He has such a distinctively warm and inviting and mature tone in his voice that adds so much to the atmosphere of not only this track, but just Katatonia's style in general. And as upbeat and energetic as songs like Austerity or another track later titled Birds are, there is still a lot of genuine, heartfelt, introspective moodiness. Now, right up front, just a minor criticism with this record as a whole is that a lot of tracks use very similar styles and sounds and song structures that can make this feel like a somewhat samey experience. But I do think that Katatonia do a pretty decent job at taking advantage of this sameness to make things come together as one cohesive whole. And I think the songs do have just enough contrast and just enough uniqueness to prevent things from feeling like a totally repetitive and monotonous experience. For example, right after more high energy and upbeat songs such as Austerity and Birds, we have more slow paced and more sinister tracks such as Colossal Shade and Drab Moon. And there are other times when the band subtly try new things, such as on the track Opaline, where we have these interesting electronic beats during the intro that makes me feel like some sort of hip hop style electronic drop is about to happen. And the bounciness of this electronic beat is sort of carried over a little bit when we get to the very big, dramatic, and cinematic chorus of this thing. And speaking of this track's chorus and choruses like this on this album in general, I don't know how he does it, but Jonas has a really great way of making such monotone vocal melodies sound genuinely powerful and moving. Like he's harmonizing with the instrumentals and contributing to the overall timbre of what's going on. Now, even though that I think Katatonia do a good job at preventing the album's inherent sameness from feeling overtly repetitive, there are times when certain tracks just don't feel as well executed as others that do very similar things. For example, as much as I really like the track Sclera, it's fuck! Holy shit! Creative Cloud is fucking harassing me, guys. For example, as much as I really like the track Sclera, especially when we get to its bridge, I don't really find its chorus to be quite as effective in terms of execution. Besides tracks like this, there are also others, especially during the album's second half, that are serious highlights. For example, the track Impermanence, featuring Joel Ekaloff from Soen, is probably the most dramatic and emotional sounding track on the whole album, with Joel and Jonas sort of duetting with each other and occasionally harmonizing in a way that I find really, really effective. And along with that, the track Atrium was the album's first single when it came out a few months ago. And so because this is the song that I'm just inherently the most familiar with, even prior to this album's release, I find myself just singing along to its chorus whenever it comes in like an angsty teen. And finally, the album's closing track, titled No Beacon to Illuminate Our Fall, is its lengthiest and most progressive track in terms of musical complexity, as well as its more unpredictable song structure. And I love it. I think it's definitely one of the album's strongest, maybe not quite as strong as Impermanence in my opinion, but still a really great track regardless. So yeah, in case you couldn't tell already, I love this album, and this pretty much lived up to the expectations that I had for City Burials back in 2020. I love the atmosphere of this whole thing. I love the vocals. The production is incredible, as always. Everything sounds so immersive and expansive and full, and I find myself really getting lost in the really detailed layering of sounds and ambiances that really fill up the sonic space. And as previously mentioned, this album has somewhat of a nighttimey cyberpunk-like vibe, just slightly, enough so to make this such an effective record to put on while driving at night and just getting hit in my moody feels and whatnot. And so, yeah, those are my thoughts on the new record from Katatonia. What did you think of it? Please feel free to comment your thoughts on it down below. And if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe and maybe comment if you want and all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.